everybody, it's Verity here from inkybutterfly.wordpress.com. Thank you for joining me again today. I've created this card to show you today. Really, really pretty. So I'm going to talk first about the colours I've chosen. Okay. So as a crafter, I'm looking for inspiration all around the place, and fabrics and home furnishings, things like that can give you some clues as to some colours that will go together that you may not have thought about. And the inspiration for these colours actually came from my car, because I had these guys hanging in there. So these are my these are car bars that I purchased from Scentsy, and they once when I change them, sometimes I'll just leave the other one hanging on the thing, and these colours ended up together, and I was like, they're really pretty. So that's how the colours came about. So yeah, I will. So this is one of my favourites, apricot vanilla, but they're retiring that one, so won't be able to get that one anymore. But it was really lovely. And then lavender cotton and bonfire beach, really nice. So those are so that's where the inspiration came from. And then I wanted to think about what stamp set to use, and I thought I'd have a play with Forever Fern again. So I used it when I first got it. I really love this set. I love the leaves. I just think it's lovely, and it's it is distinctive, so you've got the shading within the stamp set as well. So I thought I'd pull out this and see what I ended up with, and this is what I got, and I quite like it. So we're going to recreate it today. We're not going to mix up any colours, we're just going to go with it, and I'll just show you how I... Really nice simple layout, and look, it's flat again. I haven't fallen out with my dimensionals, I promise, but I just thought it would look nice just straight on, and a nice simple card for anyone who's just starting out. I just wanted to show some different ideas of how we can achieve this. Okay, so let's put that to one side for the moment, and I'm just going to bring in a card base. This is just a Whisper White card base, which I've just hooked onto some of the small grid paper, the mini grid papers. These fit in the Stamper Artist as well. They're good for this kind of thing, because I'm going to be stamping over the top, and I know I want that sentiment to go across the middle. Oh, sorry. You okay? Didn't mean to bang into you then. That's because I was just about to lean forward and put this tape across the middle, that's why. So I'm just going to line that back up again. The sentiment's just going above centre, so we'll just use that dark line, and this is some very low tack tape, which I stuck to my clothing, and I'm not really pressing hard on the middle, I'm just sort of securing it there, just so that I've got a guideline as to where I'm going to have, because things will overlap, and it doesn't matter if they overlap where the sentiment's going to be. So that's why that's going down there. And I started, so the colours that I ended up picking out were Highland Heather, which I didn't actually say, did I? Petal Pink and Mint Macaron. And we're going to start with Mint Macaron and put in the leaves. I'm going to keep the same images, I'm just going to keep it pretty much the same in terms of what I've used. So light tapping on the ink pad, I'm not squishing that down and pressing into it, I'm just letting the stamp almost rest on the sponge of that ink pad, just moving it around, just lightly tapping on it. Okay, and we're just going to put some leaves in place. So we're going to stamp over that tape, and then over the edges of the cardstock. It looks more natural if you if you stamp over the edges. So you can see from that shot how the distinctive etching makes that look dimensional without having to use different colours. We can just use the same colour ink and get this really lovely image. So you can see I'm trying to mix up the angles on the stamp, but everything's kind of emanating from the middle. I think we'll put another one across here. Not putting them too close together because I want to have room for the other elements, and I think there's just a bit of a gap here, so you want some balance to your card. So I'm literally just gonna, in fact that might end up over both edges, but that's fine too. There we are. So just a peek of that green coming through there. Okay, let's put that to one side. We'll finish with that. Oh, even though those car bars were used up, if you like, you can still smell them when they're up close. I've just got my where the ink goes over the tape, that won't dry so quick, so I'm just going to take a piece of tissue and just wipe away that ink from side to side, just to stop it transferring onto my other stamp. So what I don't want to do is get green ink into my petal pink ink pad. So with this one then, the idea is to kind of fill in the gaps a little bit. So let's start over here. Have them peeking out in different angles. Light tapping over that ink pad. This one coming out here, then press down firmly, but not sort of wiggling it about too much. And I think this one's going to end up straddling across the tape, so we've got a bit peeking out above and below, but I don't really want that stem showing, so we've got a hint of it either side there. We've got a gap here which I'd like to fill in. Then we've got that space over on the left there. Okay, alright, so it's going to turn out different every time, but the overall concept is there. So those are drying there, and then all I did was I brought in so I'm going to use the Highland Heatherford sentiment, but just to sort of tie it together, I used this little sort of speckle image just to bring it together a little bit and just add some interest. So here, there and everywhere, adding a bit of interest to that background. Some of this may end up being covered up a little bit, but it just adds something around and about. Here, there. I think I might just put a bit more down there in that space. Okay. No, don't want to overcook it. I do need that ink pad. I'm just going to leave that just to dry off properly, just for a sec, while we stamp the sentiment on this scrap of Whisper White. So again, just some light tapping on the ink pad across side to side. Okay. I've mounted it on the ink, on the acrylic block, by lining it up on my grid paper. I'm just going to bring that close to me so that I can see whether it's straight or not. So I'm lining up the stamp with the edge of that cardstock, pressing that down firmly, Just holding it in place for a second for the ink to transfer. Really lovely sentiment. Okay, so we're done with the inks now. I'm just going to bring in my trimmer. Brilliant trimmer that Stampin' Up carry. A few things I can show you about this. Sorry about the light. Sorry about that. See if I can get it to a point where you can't really see it. But just to say that the top has got both metric and imperial measurements on there, which are really nice and clear. If the autofocus will play with me, look how clear those gradients are. So it's really easy to get millimetres and down to 1/16 of an inch, depending on your preference, whether you're metric or imperial. Okay, there's a handy dandy hook if you wanted to hang it up. I keep mine on a trolley, so it's fine. This arm, actually, you can press it down and it snaps shut. So if I put that cardstock in there and snap it shut, it's actually held in place quite well. Whereas it would just slide off without it. So that's really great as well. The book bars are at the top and the bottom, and the same ruler is at the bottom as well, and you've got a ruler halfway, which is useful if you're trying to line up a long piece of paper. There is an extension arm that comes out, so if you just pull along there, that comes out and it goes all the way up to 17 inches, so it's huge. So if you're a scrapbooker and you need to cut down large pieces of paper, you can very simply. Okay, and then it comes with two blades, the light grey scores and the dark grey cuts. The blade comes out at the bottom, just sort of wiggles out at there's a little slot for it to come out. And I've just changed this, but it's an arrow blade. Okay, so I put it in, so I tend to cut up, and there's a little arrow on there, so I put it in so the arrow's facing up, and when it looks like it's getting a bit blunt, you can take out the blade, switch it round, and you've got a sharp edge again. Okay, so that's, I make all my card bases with the trimmer as well. So for this then, I'm going to line up, even though this is all squiffy, that book bar is going to keep that nice and straight for me, because I know the other edge is straight. And I'm lining up the stamped image with one of these, the edge on there, and that's going to give me a nice straight cut. Pop that away. And I'm just going to bring in my stamped card, just peel that away. Gently remove this tape. Even though it's low tack, just go easy. If you pull it from sideways, even if you do catch it a little bit, hopefully your sentiment will then cover it up. Okay, so could have just stamped in there and kept it completely flat. I always worry about getting it perfectly straight if I'm stamping directly onto a card with a sentiment. So all we need to do is position that over the top there, and that covers that gap beautifully. So I'm going to bring in my Stampin' seal. Stampin' seal, yeah. Right, I kept calling it something completely different, which wasn't even an adhesive, it was a coloring product, and I just kept getting the name wrong. Stampin' seal, that's right. And just going to eyeball that so that the sentiment is, let's use the grid paper to make sure it's straight, but in terms of, side to side straight, in the middle. Okay, grid paper is fantastic for this kind of thing, lining things up. Okay, and then all we need to do is use our scissors and trim off that excess cardstock there, And that's it, it's done. You could add rhinestones and things. Shall we add rhinestones to this one, just as a finishing touch? I haven't got any out, but I can just get some out quickly if I just wriggle my drawers around. Oops. And we'll grab my take your pick tool, and we'll just use some of these little teeny tiny ones, and just don't forget you can colour your rhinestones as well if you wanted to make those all matching, and you could do so. I think they're going to look lovely just as they are, in a little triangle there, and just a little something to finish it off, makes it a little bit more feminine as well. Okay, so that's it then. So as you can see, so really nice and reproducible. I mean, you know, they're not identical, but you can mix this up as much as you like, really, and play about with your placement, change your colours, all that kind of stuff. So very easy to mass produce those. You could have several on the go at the same time. Okay, really nice and easy. Thanks ever so much for joining me. All the links and everything are in the description bar. Do check them out. Information on joining, Stampin' Up, etc. is in there too, and there are links to the shop and the main products that I've used today. Okay, thanks ever so much, everybody. Have a really great day, and we will see each other again very soon. Take care, everyone. Okay, bye.